All right, the head gaskets finally showed up for the Firebird. Right here are some proper head gaskets that I should have just bought the first time. So we can finally start throwing this thing together. I'll probably do that off camera because it's just bolting on some heads and the intake and everything. I will show you the intake when it comes time for that though. I think everybody that has been complaining about me not painting the RX-7 intake is probably gonna be pretty into what I did here. So let me get to that real quick. Okay, yesterday was just a day for getting stuff done, and that's exactly what I did with the help from my buddy Egg. This is like one of the first times I've been able to actually sit back and look at the car at its actual ride height. I was able to lower the front because I got all the weight up there now. We got a bunch of stuff knocked out. The smooth stage box is actually wired up now, so the buttons are all there. The only thing I have to do is run the power tap wire to the fuse block for all of those, and then that's all done. You can see here, everything does still fit under the hood. I think I need to rotate the intake pipe just a little bit because I think the blow-off valve might be touching it. But aside from that, everything's looking good. I cannot wait to get on the two-step and see this thing just blasting flames out that exhaust. I mean, don't get me wrong, I miss Goldie Hawn, but this car has such a good look to it. So, let's take a look under the hood and you can see all the work we did. I think you're gonna like this. So I had to have a little fun with it, and I could not stand the silver. I was gonna originally just paint it like a textured black, but I figured, screw it. I'll buy a couple cans of spray paint and lay it down. It turned out pretty good, as long as you don't get super close to it. But yeah, the engine and everything in here is like 92% back together. The injectors are still en route. The intake's not bolted down because I need to put an oil pressure sensor back in there. And you know, it's a lot easier to do with the intake out of there, being able to see what you're doing. I have to make 3 fuel feed lines. There's the crossover from the driver's side rail to the regulator, and then there's the 2 from the tank to the pumps. I have to run the return line still, which will probably go along that, and I might use most of the old return. I still need to mount the MAC valves. They'll probably be right here. That seems like a good spot for everything. Still need to get the proper plugs for it. These are just some whatever plugs. I need to figure out something for this radiator hose. And I need to install the meth kit still. But aside from that, I cleaned up everything on the whiteboard. This is pretty much everything I could think of that's left for the Firebird. That's really not that big of a list. I mean, finished fuel lines, injectors, oil pressure sensor, the thermostat, lower radiator hose, all that can be done in a day easily. The MAC valve, spark plugs, put the new pump in, which is basically just loosen a bolt, crack the lines off it, slide it out, put the new one in. The rear shocks, that's not necessary. I just would like to get new rear shocks and install the meth kit. The meth kit, just because I've never done it before and it's a pretty involved kit with a few wires, I might end up taking like a day to do that. But hopefully I'm overestimating how long it'll actually take to do that. I just figure if I plan on a day, it only takes half a day, that's a win. The line lock isn't hooked up. I guess I could put that on the board, but hopefully that's not like a crucial thing. But I just keep thinking back to how this car was when I got it from John, and it's just a night and day difference. Like, it's a totally different car. Actually, you know what? Since we're already here and we're talking about it, let's get started on this meth kit. So here's the tank that I'm not sure where I might put here. That kind of seems natural. Could I get away with mounting that there and then the pump like that? I mean, really, I probably could get away with doing that because this has the same like push lock style fittings as the wastegate and everything. Here's a bunch of the line, and as soon as I can get to it, here's the nozzle that'll go in the intake. Where I want to put this, because this has like an NPT, like a pipe fitting. You see? Because I'd like to mount it in the actual pipe here, but I don't know if there's enough like material thickness to thread this in and make sure it stays securely. So I think what we'll probably do is just run the hose up here and kind of figure that out as we go. We'll set that right there where it'll roll off and I'll lose it forever. And then here is the brains of the operation. We've got plenty of wiring. Holy crap, probably like a good 12 feet or so. And this one is pretty simple. So this right here is where you'll hook the vacuum line up to so it can read boost. I suppose there's like a 3 or so bar map sensor because it'll go up to 35 psi, and then it's just as simple as turn this knob to whatever you want it to start injecting the meth at. Like if you want it to start at 4, you'll put it at 4, and then it'll like ramp up to, let's say, I mean, I'll probably be at around 20, 25, give or take. So I'm assuming that there's some sort of ramp and it's not just like there, you know what I mean? And then luckily for me, because this didn't come with any instructions, because I got it from Justin Baker, Dr. Differential and Speed Shop. Go check him out. Over there, can't really see it because it's so reflecty. The back of this has like a list of what all the wires do. So typically red and black go to the battery, yellow is the 12 volt activate, pink is pump positive, orange is pump negative, the brown / white wire is the solenoid, green is boost safe ground, the white wire is the fluid level positive, brown is the fluid level negative, and then the violet and gray are for the LEDs. So it looks like the only ones we're going to use are the red, black, yellow, pink, and orange. I don't think we'll need any of the others. So this should be pretty simple. 2 of them will run all the way back here to the battery. The yellow one I'll probably hook to the same fuse block that I got everything else inside the car running off of. So I got the line lock, the bump box, the trans brake, all that's running off one box. I'll probably hook this to it. There should be one more port left. And then I just have to run the pink and orange wires to the pump. This should actually be remarkably simple. Alright, so I was going to get real fancy mechanics and make a mount with this aluminum bar stock that I've got, but I don't really think that's necessary. I think I'm just going to mount them kind of like this, right about there, give or take. Now sure, with the nozzle being at the very bottom like that, with it being at an angle, there's going to be some that it can't get, but my train of thought was that's below the low level sensor anyway, so like it shouldn't, I should never let it get that low. Yeah, because I was going to make some like kind of triangulated pieces to stand this upright, but I don't think that that's real necessary because it's such a little bit that it wouldn't be able to get to. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that, and then I'll probably just run the line over and then like punch a hole right here or underneath where this wiring goes through. I think just for the time being I might, well, this side might kind of suck actually because that bar's right there. So I think I'll probably just get the holes marked out and then drill them so that we can run some bolts through. Probably the same with the pump. And then once we do that, I'll make a little line to connect the tank to the pump. And then once I get these mounted, I'll probably move on to the wiring, because running the line and the nozzle, that should be like a couple minutes worth of work. Pump is rubber mounted. Hopefully you can see that. There's some give to it, so that's all good there. I don't think I'm going to wire the low level sensor. I don't really see any reason to. These are obviously for the power to the pump. I'm going to run the wires along with everything else to the battery, like all the wiring up to the front, I mean. And I'll probably run this through here somewhere. I need to get under and see where this like subframe or brace is, because I can see the rivets here, so I might come over here a little bit. Alright, all the hard parts are taken care of. I had to put the shocks back in the car so that I can lift it up. I was going to roll it back and tackle all the wiring, but I figured while it's already in the spot for the hoist, I'll lift it up, run the line up there, and I'm going to make the fuel lines there, because the only 3 feed lines I have to make are the 2 from the tank to the pumps, and then the 1 up at the intake, but that's nothing. So I'm going to get that knocked out real quick, and then we'll drop it down, roll it back, and tackle the wiring. Alright, so I think I'm probably going to mount this right about in here. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be like an actual thing for this to slide in, like how the Terminator X has this mount. So I might try to look that up and see if I can find something before I actually like glue it to this. Or I could probably put a Velcro strip across that actually, and that'd be fine. Just have to go get one. And then I'll put the bump box down there, the smooth stage, because I need to be able to adjust that. And then for the most part, the wiring is going to follow the harness over here. I'm going to have to extend the wires a little bit. They don't quite reach, which isn't a huge deal. Let's see, there's only 4 that I have to run back there, right? The ones to the battery and the ones to the pump. So I got to run pink and orange to the pump, and then red and black to the battery. And then the yellow wire is going to connect to that block right there. So all I got to do now is just tidy up some of the wiring, get everything terminated where it needs to be, and then, you know, this is a pretty simple install really, because it's not like we're going to be using the low fluid sensor or the LEDs, anything like that, or the boost safe thing. So I know for sure I'm going to need at least 1 eyelet connector and a couple, I might solder the ones at the pump, we'll see. Alright, it is a couple hours later. I was finally able to get back out here and finish up the wiring. And it's as straightforward as you could really think. Like I said, I just have the power and ground to the pump, power and ground to the battery. The yellow wire is to a switched 12 volt. I just ran it as neatly as I can. I am going to get some sheathing to like cover it and just make it look all nice and pretty. But for the most part, I just lumped it in with the rest of the wiring harness so that there's just one clump going down the side of the body here. Everything under there's still basically how it was. All I had to do was tap onto the switched block there. All the wires that I'm not currently using, I did not cut. They're just wrapped up under the dash here. This thing, I'm going to just mount it right there, right above the smooth stage like you saw. I do have the line going through the floor, through a grommet. It's just following the like pinch weld along there, and the line's coming up through, trying to route it in a way that keeps it away from the heat but doesn't look stupid at the same time. And I'm probably just going to put it right about in here, give or take. But I'm not going to mount that yet because I kind of want to order like a small flange or something and weld it on just so there's more material. Not that I think it's going to make a huge difference, but I know that that piping is kind of thin, and I mean, it'll probably see like 20-25 pounds of boost. It may be fine, it may not, but I'd rather play it safe instead of having it blow out at half track and have the motor see like 400-degree IATs. But yeah, the car is coming along pretty nicely. The methanol kit install was more simple than I expected. That was my first time really looking at anything. Like, I mean, I looked at it when Justin sent it to me, but I didn't like seriously investigate it, and I mean, it could not be more simple. And like I said, I didn't cut any of the other wires because I may use them down the road. I may find out that there's one that I need. I don't think I will though, because it's just the low level sensor was 2 of them, the LED indicator was 2 of them, and there was that boost safe wire, which I don't think is necessary. But aside from that, that's probably going to do it for this video. Hopefully tomorrow my Kirky seat will be here. I might yoink this one out and start looking at how to mount that one. So yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Quick shout out to Turnin' and Burnin'. Thank you for sending me the hoodie. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.